In 1998, Jamiroquai faced a crisis. The band had just lost Stuart Zender, the bassist whose distinctive grooves had helped define its sound on Emergency on Planet Earth, The Return of the Space Cowboy, and Traveling Without Moving. Replacing him wasn't simply a matter of finding another talented player. Whoever stepped into that role would inherit one of the most recognizable bass positions in modern funk. The musician chosen wasn't a household name. He wasn't surrounded by media attention. But within months, he helped deliver one of Jamiroquai's biggest commercial successes. His name was Nick Fyffe. His story isn't about replacing a legend. It's about proving that a different musical voice could keep one of the world's biggest funk bands moving forward. Before we continue, subscribe now, like this video, comment, and share. Long before joining Jamiroquai, Nick Fyffe was building his reputation across London's vibrant music scene. Growing up in the United Kingdom, he developed a deep appreciation for soul, funk, jazz, rhythm, and blues, and the groove-oriented bass playing that had shaped artists such as Earth, Wind and Fire, Chic, Stevie Wonder, and the Average White Band. Rather than focusing on flashy solos, Fyffe became known for his consistency, tasteful phrasing, and ability to lock naturally with a drummer. These qualities made him valuable in rehearsals, live performances, and studio sessions alike. By the late 1990s, he was already working with respected musicians and earning recognition as a dependable professional. Although his name wasn't widely known outside the British music industry, people behind the scenes understood his strengths. That quiet reputation would soon place him in front of the greatest opportunity of his career. When Stuart Zender left Jamiroquai during the recording of Synkronized, the timing couldn't have been more difficult. The band was preparing what would become its fourth studio album, and expectations were enormous after the worldwide success of Traveling Without Moving. Finding a replacement wasn't simply about technical ability. JK needed someone capable of supporting Jamiroquai's signature blend of funk, acid jazz, disco, and pop without sounding like an imitation. Nick Fyffe proved to be that musician. He joined the project during the recording process and immediately approached the music with respect for what had come before, while adding his own personality. Instead of trying to copy Stuart Zender note for note, Fyffe focused on serving each song. That decision helped preserve the band's identity while allowing the next chapter of Jamiroquai to develop naturally. The result would soon reach audiences around the world. Released in 1999, Synkronized arrived during a turbulent and transitional period for Jamiroquai. Following Stuart Zender's departure mid-album, JK discarded much of the original material, forcing a tight, high-pressure re-recording process. Nick Fyffe stepped straight into this storm, taking on bass duties during a pivotal shift in the band's sound, one moving toward a tighter, more electronic, disco-infused funk. Because of the album's hybrid production, certain key tracks relied heavily on synth bass arrangements provided by keyboardist Toby Smith and percussionist Sola Akingbola, most notably on the iconic Canned Heat. Yet Fyffe added his distinct electric bass touch to tracks like King for a Day and Black Capricorn Day, balancing classic groove with the band's new electronic edge. Perhaps his greatest initial challenge wasn't just in the studio, but earning the confidence of fans who closely associated Jamiroquai's identity with Zender. Fyffe never attempted to imitate his predecessor. Instead, he brought rock-solid pocket, precision, and restraint, seamlessly holding down every line, whether synth or electric, when taking the album onto the live stage. That discipline helped Synkronized top the charts internationally. setting the foundation for Fyffe to fully assert his identity on the band's next record. When Synkronized was released in 1999, the pressure surrounding Jamiroquai quickly began to fade. The album became a commercial success, reaching the top of the UK albums chart and producing several successful singles. For Nick Fyffe, it was immediate proof that the band's new lineup could connect with audiences around the world. The real test, however, came on stage. Jamiroquai had earned a reputation as one of the best live acts of the decade. Fans expected energetic performances, extended grooves, and the same chemistry they had seen during the Stuart Zender years. Night after night, Fyffe demonstrated why he had been chosen. Rather than filling every measure with complex runs, he built an unshakable rhythmic foundation that allowed J.K., guitarist Simon Katz, keyboardist Toby Smith, and drummer Derek McKenzie to stretch the music naturally. His calm stage presence contrasted with the band's explosive performances. He didn't seek attention. He focused on making the entire band sound stronger. As the world tour continued across Europe, North America, Asia, and Australia, audiences gradually embraced Jamiroquai's new rhythm section. That confidence would carry directly into the band's next recording project. By 2001, Jamiroquai was ready for another creative step. The result was a Funk Odyssey, an album that leaned further into disco, electronic music, and dance grooves while preserving the band's unmistakable funk identity. Nick Fyffe remained an important part of that evolution. His playing adapted naturally to the album's cleaner production, where every bass note had to support both live musicianship and increasingly sophisticated studio arrangements. Tracks such as Little L, You Give Me Something, and Love Philosophy showcased a bassist who understood that groove often depends on restraint rather than complexity. Instead of dominating the arrangements, Fyffe created bass lines that locked seamlessly with Derek McKenzie's drumming, giving the songs an infectious pulse without sacrificing musical elegance. The album introduced Jamiroquai to an even broader international audience. Its blend of funk, disco, soul, and modern production became one of the defining sounds of the early 2000s. For Fyffe, it confirmed that he was no longer simply replacing another bassist. He had become an essential contributor to the band's next chapter. But his career would soon extend far beyond Jamiroquai. After leaving Jamiroquai, Nick Fyffe returned to the role he had always valued most: a versatile professional musician. Rather than pursuing celebrity, he continued building a career through collaboration. Over the following years, he worked with artists across the British music scene, contributing both in the studio and on stage. His credits include performances with Incognito, one of the leading names in British jazz funk, as well as work with Shola Ama, the Temperance Movement, and other respected artists spanning soul, rock, funk, and contemporary pop. What made Fyffe especially valuable was his adaptability. He could move comfortably between styles without losing his musical identity. Whether performing a deep funk groove, supporting a soulful ballad, or driving a rock arrangement, his playing remained tasteful, balanced, and deeply rooted in the song. That versatility earned him lasting respect among fellow musicians. Although his name rarely appeared in headlines, producers and band leaders knew exactly what he brought to every session: reliability, musical intelligence, and an instinctive sense of groove. Those qualities would ultimately define his legacy far more than any single album ever could. For many musicians, replacing a successful band member is one of the most difficult challenges imaginable. For Nick Fyffe, the task was even greater. Stuart Zender had become one of the defining bassists of the acid jazz movement. His highly melodic lines on albums like The Return of the Space Cowboy and traveling without moving inspired countless bass players around the world. Comparisons were inevitable. Some fans wanted Jamiroquai to sound exactly as it had before. Others were curious to hear a new musical direction. Rather than entering that debate, Fyffe focused on the only thing he could control: his performance. He never tried to recreate Zender's phrasing note for note. Instead, he approached every song with his own sense of timing, groove, and musical balance. Looking back, that decision helped Jamiroquai avoid becoming a tribute to its own past. The band continued evolving, and Fyffe became an important part of that transition. Over time, many listeners came to appreciate that he wasn't replacing Stuart Zender's identity. He was contributing his own. That distinction remains one of the most overlooked aspects of his career. Looking back, it's easy to reduce Nick Fyffe's story to a single sentence. He replaced Stuart Zender in Jamiroquai. But that description overlooks what he actually accomplished. He joined one of the world's most successful funk bands at its most uncertain moment. Expectations were enormous, comparisons were unavoidable, and every performance was closely scrutinized by fans who associated Jamiroquai with a very specific bass sound. Instead of trying to recreate the past, Fyffe helped the band move forward. His playing became part of two important chapters in Jamiroquai's history: Synkronized and A Funk Odyssey. Those albums introduced a more polished, dance-oriented sound while preserving the groove that had made the band internationally successful. His contribution wasn't based on flashy solos or technical demonstrations. It was built on consistency, musical judgment, and an ability to make every arrangement feel solid. Those are qualities that often go unnoticed by casual listeners, but they are deeply respected by musicians who understand what happens inside a recording studio. For many professionals, that's exactly why Nick Fyffe deserves far more recognition than he usually receives. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next video.